Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. So today we're tackling something I think literally all of us think about at some point, but we rarely actually figure out how to leave a legacy. It's a heavy, kind of intimidating word, isn't it? Usually we reserve it for, I don't know, presidents or people who invent vaccines. But the source material we're unpacking today breaks legacy down into a surprisingly accessible architecture.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the meaning of legacy beyond global prominence.
So let me ask you this right off the bat. Do you actually need to change the whole world to leave a legacy? I mean, you scroll through social media today and you instantly feel this crushing pressure, right? Like you have to pull off these massive, extraordinary feats just to make a dent in the universe. We're constantly sold this idea that if we aren't reaching millions of people or completely disrupting an entire industry before our morning coffee, our lives somehow just lack impact.
We almost always equate legacy with impacting this huge, massive population. But the author hits us with a really comforting, actually kind of radical reality here. Touching just a few lives? That is entirely enough. What we do doesn't necessarily need to send out this giant global shockwave. Honestly, if in your entire lifetime you manage to genuinely contribute to the well-being of just a few people, your legacy is completely secure. It doesn't require massive scale, It just requires genuine connection.
Which brings us to Section 2, aligning with your values, the internal foundation.
Building a legacy definitely requires consistent internal self-work. When you finally align your daily actions with your actual core values, it sets off this amazing chain reaction. You unlock passion, zeal, a deep sense of satisfaction, real fulfillment, and you actually start to love the work you do. Have you ever felt like totally empty at the end of a super productive day? Yeah, it's probably because your output just wasn't matching your internal values. You were busy checking off boxes, sure, but none of them were yours. Once those values actually align, all that daily effort takes on this profound meaning.
Moving on to Section 3, finding your deepest purpose. This is all about moving from passion to the why. The text actually urges us to hit pause for a second and ask ourselves, what is the purpose behind this work and why am I doing this? Because, think about it, passion without purpose is really just energy without a destination. It's kind of like having a high-end sports car with a full tank of gas, but literally no steering wheel. So think about your own daily grind. Can you easily answer why you're doing it? Actually defining that purpose is the key that takes your internal fire and finally gives it a direction.
Okay, Section 4, significance through selfless service. Let's look at the external impact.
Now here is the absolute crucial pivot in this whole concept. Purpose must connect to service and contribution. Look, you can be totally aligned with your values, you can be incredibly passionate, you might even know your exact why. But true significance? That only really shows up when your work adds tangible value to other people's lives. It's that huge shift from me to we. Committing yourself to a passion with a purpose that actively serves others, that right there is the exact mechanism for leaving an indelible mark.
So, if we put it all together, here is the complete, actionable blueprint we've uncovered from the text. Step 1, align with your values. That's your internal foundation, right? Step 2, define your purpose. Give that passion a specific direction. And Step 3, serve others. Connect that purpose back to the world. When you lay it out like that, suddenly leaving a legacy goes from being this lofty, almost intimidating philosophical idea to a really structured, tangible approach.
And there's this really beautiful metaphor from the text I want to share. Quote, creating a legacy for ourselves is like planting a seed and nurturing it to be a healthy tree, though not having an expectation to enjoy the fruits. End quote. Man, that hits home. It's all about doing the work today, right? Nurturing the roots, watering the soil, knowing full well that the shade of that tree is going to be enjoyed by someone else long after you've moved on. That is the true essence of impact.
And that brings us to our final section, Section 5, doing the ordinary extraordinarily, your empowering reality.
Let's be real for a second. Very, very few people in this world are actually extraordinarily gifted. And guess what? That is completely 100% okay. You absolutely do not need extraordinary feats to matter. The big paradigm shift here is recognizing that high significance actually comes from everyday contributions. You don't need a Wikipedia page, you don't need a bronze statue in a park. You just need to show up.
Which leaves us with this final, really empowering challenge to think about. What is the one ordinary thing you will do extraordinarily? Seriously, think about it. Choose just one thing you love, align it with your core values, point it directly at serving others, and then just get to work. Look, you might not change the whole world, but you can absolutely change someone's world. So, what is your one ordinary thing? I want you to take that question with you today.
Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you next time.